Hi guys, welcome back. Time now is vlog 53 and we begin this moment, the second for our today's study live stream. And the date is becoming 6 December 2023. And we studied a little bit and we're gonna go out buy food to eat because I have nothing to air fressen. Oh my god. and so that hope you guys join my study session. And what we do now is the EA lecture yesterday, and we're gonna find the critical view and words they neutralize the lecture, and to say that to gain knowledge and why that the danger exists actually. And so okay, let's kind of begin, and we have 2 hours. I think. During the study live stream, as you guys know, that we have some rules, and one is language rule, and there is so there is preferred for speaking language is English, and because current master program that is English, and we need by here we need by the Chibo wie heißt das? Triple product to clean the roof, and there are a lot of insects coming through, and so let's just go through the EA lecture because we haven't done that yet. And the second language is the flow cannot open. My god. Because I have too many screenshots or what. They cut that, so I need delete YouTube and etc. So we just write in the handwriting notebook, and because it cannot be open, I just know. We got the 58.9 megabyte. I don't know metabyte, like MB, and so because so second language is Chinese and third language is German, and today and tomorrow before 24 o'clock we got a writing task. Is a small essay, and like 5,000 words, like 4,000 words, like 3 pages and to 5 pages, I'm not sure, and I'm gonna check that later. And we using the easiest way, and because the digital device was so easy to be destroyed, and so let's just not reviewing the lecturing instead of directly writing in a handwriting notebook. And all the small iPad that to later clean more space for the good notes as well. And the notice from last year, and etc. So let's just think how to deal with that. Okay, so we promise notes taking way is the handwriting notes, and I today don't dare to go out, and the reason is that my bank account was be hacked, like they are intertrade for the health with the health insurance, and so I fear of when I buy things using the bank card, and they're gonna directly take like 1,500 euro away, and don't like the records, and like don't leave the Überweisungsbeleg, for example. But now I have the printed version about the transaction transfer to the blue ground, and that's why it doesn't matter. And otherwise, it is okay. Let's just go the ink and notebook session, and because yeah, I don't sometimes don't have that much the rights. Yeah, but you can earn it like to yeah to do not against the Miko professor, but Miko professor was the Speicherplatz, right? So sometimes it is this way. And this is the econometric analysis yesterday, and I don't know that too exactly. So we're gonna listen the lecture again, and so that 哎呦我天呐，so that so that I could capture more, so to say, because yesterday night I had I think that'll be wiped out, and I don't know which content is which, and it seems like I can only write like single words like the Gefei-FIONA faculties directing, and she left one square case empty, and so that I only can write that in the sense that like actually school faculty is not my major actually, but so let's go through it. Correlated investors correlated estimators, and these exactly the confidence problem which was illustrated here in this slide. Okay, so this is what this is somehow strange, right? Ask the data could both be zero, then you cannot do it. But you see, this is somehow strange, right? This is not the empirical relevant. The empirical relevant thing more satisfies, meaning that it magic takes out the end of question infinity. Right? So we have asymptotically applied. So when we go from strong exponent to weak exponent, then we have minus but also satisfied. So the problem somehow pays out the end. So the hope is maybe we can save the t-test, right? Even in the presence of the x-train t. All these physics, we have a lot of networks. And there will be something about knowledge. So we feel 好搞笑。那个，我分享一下我刚才然后上课的时候，Nurse 教授说，In German is 流哈喇子。然后我也在想，我这两天确实睡觉的时候，然后有一天早上醒来的时候，是因为可能太饿了还是什么，反正就是在流口水，然后我不知道这是为什么，但是挺
One can show that this here, this variable here, converges to the normal distribution. So this, the end of that variable, obviously, right? But the exciting result is, even though the classes here are not normally distributed, right? They might be heavily skewed or whatever. If n goes infinity, if we have only enough observations, then the distribution of this statistic here is very close to normal. It converges to distribution here. Okay. So this is already exciting. A very strong assumption. But it's getting more exciting, right? So you can't even, the point is here, you see that it's important to have your identities independent things, right? So how important is that assumption that they're independent? Right? right? The same distributions, but actually they're super correlated. So let's go to the extremes, right? You draw always the same. So these xi here, in our extreme examples, are actually the identical random curve. All right? So not independently drawn. No, they're just identical. Just draw down 100 times the same number. Okay? It is possible that the central difference theory still works in that extreme case. Here is a pure case, independent of very strong assumptions about the axis. Now I take the other extreme, somehow strange extreme, that my n axes here are not independent, but they're identical. I just repeat. I draw once and then I repeat 100. So can it still be possible that this is always here? What do you say? Yeah.
No, because we can't be zero, then everyone works.
No, we can still. No. Come on. If I have random variable being 0, then the expected value of if I draw once is 0. And if I multiply it with n, it's still 0. That doesn't work. So, I have 100 times exactly the same variable. So the idea of this here is I have super huge distribution of x, right? Maybe it's, or I have a uniform distribution. So I have a distribution of x which is definitely not normal, right? Like this bam, not like Laos. Strange distribution. Okay? And this here tells me if this x is super strange distribution, if I just sum it up, n goes to infinity, bam, goes. Okay? That's central limit theory. And what I'm now asking is, well, do we understand this? So do we understand why independence plays a role here? And whenever we present formulas here, we understand formulas. If we do something strange to the formula, goes to infinity, goes to 0, all identical. And what happens, do we understand or not? If not, then more times. Okay? So, 100, say, super cute distributed x. And I have this one thing, and I just take always the same thing. What is the resulting distribution? Well, it's still cute, right? Because I do not add up new information and where something can cancel out or I have only one thing and I just add it up n times. So one's cute or ever cute. Alright, there is no conversion. Okay. So I need that these n realizations of the random are not perfectly correlated. And in fact, stronger versions of the central theory have weaker assumptions for not correlated. So one can show that central limit theory still holds if the correlation between the axis and function is strong. Right? In my super stupid example, it was perfectly correlated. If they're perfectly correlated, no central limit theory works. Okay. So if you add the new x, there must be new information and something has, there must be a possibility that something cancels out. Very high, very low, add up, right? This is the idea of standard theory. Okay, so this is very good news, right? Because independence is a strong assumption, right? But it works actually much weaker. So this central limit theory shows you why the assumption of normal distribution of a random variable is not very critical. Because if you have a lot of observations and if you're apply essentially the theory to the beta 2 hat, you're going to have to be correct. And this shows you why the absence of normally distributed errors is not an issue if you have a lot of observations. Right? And the problem is you have a lot of observations and you have this spread economics. You know, having normally distributed errors is a nice thing to have. If you have a lot of observations, not so good. Okay? Because of the central theory that tells you if views are not so correlated, then you sum them up like you did in the beta 2 hat. You got the formula how beta 2 hat works, right? Then you see that this gives us normality and tropic normality of beta 2. Okay. So this is one reason why we still, you know, in all papers, in all math theses, you know, you will apply T-tests and F-tests and everything, you know, although nobody really checks whether the views are normal or not. Because it's a lot of observation, who cares? Okay. Of course, you know, this is n goes to infinity, and you never have infinite many observations. Therefore, the closer the residuals are to normal, the better. Right? Because you can easily simulate that in one star, where of course, this where it is here, this conversion here goes quicker, the more similar the axes are already, the more close the axes are already. Right? So if X is already normal, then they have already defined template, right? And that conversion is really because you're already there, right? If X is close to normal, then it goes very quick, right? But if you have, for example, a high distribution, then maybe you take some large or really symmetrical, right? But it's sort of describing and adding out, right? If that works, right? That even if you have maybe two texts, you sum them up, get them. Okay. All right. Cool. So, here you see something, a concept which you already know because you know
Oh nine，天呐，妈呀！我的天！
why we need Pearson's gaze on that. So, suppose, you just want to talk about the difference here between beta 2 and beta. So not the thesis is big, or something, but just the difference, right? What would you expect for the distribution of that random variable if n goes to infinity? it would give a lot of things back down that are yeah, or unmodified. So if n goes to infinity, so if this is a consistent estimate, right? And remember the requirement, right? Those systems get it's a consistent estimator. These are two half converges to beta. So let's now talk about the difference between the two.
Okay, guys, I'll share with you guys one interesting aspect, interesting perspective. That is, if it is still open, and so there are several information，然后那个昨天在课堂上面的时候，那个教授说，问了2个问题，然后他说 why we need sustainable N and why we expect distribution on that, and the third question is the why we expect value on it， 到底有什么用呢？如果你比如说是 hold on the value from the Professor Julian Cube, which is one assistant professor based in Shanjialun University in Switzerland. And so the Professor Notes was saying, why much from that, and I really hardly understood. And during that day, and while I was in the book club by the Gefei and the Taylor and not Taylor, it's several Gefei at Bigla, and then the afterwards, and I hold one thing extra, I guess. And and then March was saying, okay, then we also he haven't said that we also need. He said like we then we need the Julia Cope. And the reason is that last semester the clausur, I was written something and I went to the Einsicht and they are saying Julian Cope was right, and that is like one descriptive sentence which I answer the question and etc. And and they count that as right, as correct. And so they are saying it Julia Cope was seems like the last 救命稻草, and from my point of view, and because everything that you should do independently, and you should, if you for example want to graduate at current university, and you should be independent because the university symbol is only one bear and one animal, and there is no cooperated group of animals like in Apple Video, and everyone is individual and only one, and then you at least can have a degree, like can have the seconds, and upon the seconds building up something else. And the classmate was saying, adjusted his answer. I guess yesterday he meant something else. He meant like, it's important because your host family plant the maize, 玉米, and so that when you went to Mensa too, and you also can have the lunch with the 玉米 and instead of something else, and then it would be great. And so because the Mensa was counter to you, and so that you should also be that case, and etc. And then I was thinking, oh, my Negrita, and the class was full of like the life boundary point, and they are said in a previous paragraph, like they are saying something about 撕票, you know, 撕票, like in Chinese, 撕票 means that you promise someone to fulfill something and you haven't. And 撕票 means that 不玩了，我不干了，然后我不想弄了，然后我不想完成这件，我不想做这件事情了，然后我撕票了，I broke my promise and 撕票。And that scene is important. That scene is important because that in Berlin they have the Technic Museum, and Jin Nanyang once Daniel Jin was my classmate in my high school, my hometown, and he went to very good university in China, and he did the exchange in Amsterdam University and came to visit me several years ago in the dormitory and etc. So yeah, and tear down the ticket, just so that kind of behavior and really hurt the professor and the students relationship. And they talk about life boundary point, and here as well, like the classmate was saying, their families, you should be independent, so you cannot rely on them. And he said, yeah, it is, yeah, they are right. So they are in the life boundary point, won't, yeah, you should rely on your own. And like several past years, and every time like 20%, 30% some examination thing, for example. But but the interesting thing is that the professor also was saying, I gonna repeat that what he's saying is in the lecture, but he is describing the scene like they are two converged together, like yeah, like like okay, they so they, yeah, okay. Yeah, okay, yeah, okay. You understood what that means. And so, if for example, we're using the dusty understanding, and from my point of view, I can only, I can, I can only like perceive like 2.5 times when we converge in the same direction, and that is about, something like, yeah, okay, cool. So you understood, and the professor was described very funny, like some regressors converge together, and with 0 and 1 instead of 0 0 half 0, and etc. This kind of interesting scene, sort of thing.
I would want to say about something. Is this close or not so close? Because if it's far away from beta 2, we have to reject or something like that.
And one problem is that if yesterday went to the bakery in Nomadsland and near faculty, and they saying like that was too far away, and that is from the Wanzhou's family, and Wanzhou is the type of George, right? So type of JR, and but they are talking on the class about the Yulia Cope. So made me wondering, because whether, for example, like Alex McLaughlin does this to whether that counts or not, that's a problem. If, for example, like only Yulia Cope, like the for like Nicolas once was the law student at the law faculty at some universities, counter building towards the eco faculty, and then it means only Nicolas works, and so if for example like they simultaneously like distance with 1/2 an hour, and then they are saying that too far away. So their lecture sometimes you couldn't understood. The reason is professor covered too much, and they don't tell you directly what is what, but they are saying on the class like that is Julia Cope, and we talk about exams answer, for example, and then in the bakery, and they talk about Nicolas. So somehow it is aligned each other, right? So because the Nicolas and Julia Cope and the Marco Yubon one is all the same one actually, and they always mean the life boundary point. So you first need maintain sustain the 4,0 and like bestanden bestanden status and then to improve afterwards if you cannot first ensure about the yeah, then this thing would not be easily happen. And so from my point of view, that's obvious, but if you think this kind of situation into a bakery and the classroom, and they do the professor studio style like to constructed a very stable mind structure and to using the 223 and code 322, and they share the similar characteristic, and one is like running fast and cost very efficiently, and another one like focusing more on the detail and to make everything expensive and etc. But they actually have the same meaning, and so from my point of view and outlook as well, like from the facial aspect, and they also very similar, and so this is not talking about the classmate or talk or to the other things, but I mean that is kind of a way of help you to construct your mind, and so cool, interesting. Okay, so yeah, and also Nicholas was working and currently still in Bundesarbeit, so to say, and the classmates was jumped of this aspect. We are not very familiar, but we lived in one dormitory and controlled by Studentenwerk many years, and etc. Okay, let's continue.
What if you, I was another hypothesis, that the true area is actually what would you expect about the distribution of beta 2 headlines and beta 2 if n goes to infinity? For beta 2. It's normal, right? Beta 2 minus beta is normal. Right? Okay, go. Yeah.
So when we test for a null hypothesis, so integral is equal to 0, the difference between the expected value of beta hat, if it is consistent, minus
that this difference here is large, an epsilon. If we look at the distribution of beta 2 minus beta 2 hat minus beta, this is something which has expected value 0 because of my biases. But what about the variance of that thing? It goes like this. Because it's consistent estimator. Yeah. Remember, mean square consistency in our lecture means mean square error goes to 0. Means when it's unbiased estimator, the variance goes to 0. If the variance of something goes to 0, the distribution is not like this, it goes like that. So we have what we resulted if n goes to infinity, the distribution of that difference is degenerates. Right? It looks like, this is here, this light here, it looks like the red thing here. You get it? Steeper and steeper and steeper and steeper. We have no well-defined distribution of a test statistic anymore. If we just choose the difference of two estimators. Okay, here the simulation example is, so here we have then normal distribution and varies for 1500 Earth, and then we do this, for each n here we draw 10,000 of these. Use 10,000 times, and then we plot here. Here we plot 1 over square root n x, the distribution of this. And on the right hand side, we scale with n, so we have this x bar, and then we multiply with n, and then therefore we have just a sum here, right? I'm sorry, we have to have a second look at these scalings. Here's scaling and here's no scaling, so we do not scale the sum.
Okay, guys. 5801583430秒。所以我们先给我家人发个消息，然后打开一下微信，然后看见微信能不能打开。然后另外一个事情是，我觉得是 interesting。然后，刚才有很多车，然后换过不去。然后我现在没有接到任何 order，然后没有着急的事情要做。但一般来说，我会出去买吃的，然后就 all this 就 just study，然后没有什么其他的事儿要干，然后那种感觉，Yeah, one thing I really want to explain the reason is that day, I went to the big store, and the March was saying, no, we need the Yulia Coop. But I was think that is not possible because Yulia Coop and we connected for a long time, Professor Coop. And another problem is that we haven't met Ri in our real life, and so only through the soul round, if you want to call that, and soul round. So if you, for example, want to take and you want to take the soul connection and etc., and that made me wonder, and like you're dusting your subconsciousness and when you're into a dream state and etc., those uncleared subconscious state, and so. So that's why I was thinking, you could you cope, and so you could potentially think that is that that ET has job, for example, and because in that day and when I want to turn and I see the Bundesministerium Klima, because I haven't saw one video, and then the match was saying, okay, cool, then you can also potentially look the for care and etc. to find a small job, for example, and that was I was thinking, okay, cool. But for example, like if you want to cope my last 救命稻草at university when I take exam, and what that gonna happen, like zero, like only write a zero and none the correct, nothing is correct, and I had to admit that, and I will keep for my own and not to share with others, share with others. And the classmate was answering the question about this zero and etc. And I have the playlist, and now is that closed, and I set that to private because I was a little bit think about the copyright issue. And for example, 1 week ago, and I feel like it really be beaten, and I had to say anything and through my throat, and I feel like devastating inside, and that's why I said that in private. But I'm willing to share, and that playlist can also perceived by Simon Combi. And yeah, so let's just make that opened. Okay, cool. And got the writing task, and yeah. I just reviewing the yesterday EA lecture, and to be honest, like self-T test of F test, and do you think that the little brother and really need to save in the sense that he is at the beginning of semester already run the Green Cafe like 1010 square camera 10, and so, do you think that the small brother need be saved in the t-test because double 10 is the double, yeah, 10 and 10 is yeah, is usually has the variable the applications number, and they afterwards met that to the real cafe in Berlin and in the Green Central. And so do you think that who should be safe? The problem is that t-test is usually hard because usually all have the t account, and t means that neutral and etc. neutralization, for example, and so that t-test like 1010, and who gonna be saved like City John and etc. But I really don't think City John need to be saved. And today morning I saw the Lai Zhang's video, and short actually, and the this that the City Zhang and etc. that they work the right side of the karma, and in his video, and that's really interesting, but yeah, another problem is that yeah, also fixed contract actually is also beginning with T, and yeah. Okay, guys, we close the study live stream now, and hope you guys like my study live stream, and will I will I will update it more frequently, and I hope that I don't fall asleep while the study live streaming, and keep that alive and keep that rightful, and so that welcome you guys join my study session. And I feel like hungry and I need to satisfied by something to eat. And until I reach some point, I'm gonna start to write this small essay for next week, the governance growth rate in China, and so that yeah, happy to with you guys. And so let's just close the live stream, and happy second Advent. I don't know which day it's today or tomorrow or Friday. I'm not sure, but it's like Christlichen, Westlichen Tag, and see you guys. We gonna make this happen, and um uh yeah. Is there anything very important that should have the purchase on? And if it is not, then then just yeah, just let it. And yeah, we're gonna set the playlist open. And another problem that's urgent to do is that uh yeah, go the Chibo and buy a new product if they have, and Hauptbahnhof and etc. So just let's go. And so see you guys, and hope you guys about my YouTube channel and leave a comment. And uh, soon we're gonna back to next live stream. And I feel like this counts as effective. And otherwise, if you only copy the PowerPoint, it doesn't make much joy in it. You can also remember very hardly, like you need grasp your kopf and your to memorize it. That's very musa. And so we actually promised not to go out, but we still cannot against the mainstream in our society and have today in Sunday not on. And so yeah, and let's close the live stream and see you guys see next one. And keep following my progressive YouTube channel and live stream in a manner that only focus on the think and the consciousness constructions and etc. So see you guys then, and keep good health and keep good attitude and keep good everything. And see you guys then. Bye, and have a nice day of study, and and happy graduation. And I still haven't, but I am not jealous. Instead of instead of I will continue what I'm currently do and continue to until the degree finished, and they both bear and finally in my pocket. And yeah, okay, cool. So this today review a little bit and very fun and funny. Just watch the Apple official channel. They have the new videos updated, and that is about several Roku cone and one pink bird and several dirt animals and etc. It's just like last year and this year's quote. And yeah, I remain one question and left to you guys. It is to be said, for example, in my lifestyle, sometimes I keep my discipline and I don't do this and that, and I don't eat this and that is because that I want to respectfully and send that to the mind state, and when the conscious was rising, and then to set in the soul part, so to say, and to generate more soul value and economic value instead of only focus on reality. But the problem is that why why Rokoko become so grass haired, and why you for example, like I don't eat chicken. That means that if, for example, like in a 322 stage, like final stage and the end stage, you want to using your saved long time the energy to perform well, like present it well, and then you should have perfect one, right? Because Apple already the top electrical devices mark actually in this this DQ in this earth, right? So why you saved that for a long time and you haven't reached the perfect point, and you don't know when is that the perfect moment and to present to the 322, and they saved long time energy and want to use that. That's the problem actually. And from my point of view, I haven't also not say that someone is perfect, like upon the classmates and etc. So they haven't showed that in reality, also not in the mind level, like the top stage, for example, and then why then why to keep that discipline if you don't use that in the perfect stage. That's a problem, and that's a question. My question left to the study upstream, and I don't have answer, but I feel like it's because that they don't know that much, because they don't know one, for example, like which kind of producers that they coming through your reality, and if they don't have the long-term established business commercialized relationship with you, and you won't notice that that moment is that correct moment, and the soul was coming through, and you should present it yourself, and you should, because of want to earn, you should capture that moment. You shouldn't let that just go, and because you will lost a lot in the sense that the acknowledgement. So from this point of view, and the film was really good and like a cartoon film, and the soul was top, but they all covered with some grassness and etc. So let's just finish this all, and to the next study live stream. And so happy to see you guys, and we're gonna see each other in next study live stream, and keep in the communicative mode, and and etc. And we're gonna buy food, and天呐天呐，这么多这么多留言吗？我的天呐333，行，然后现在要听一下我微信里面的那个对话，然后我也要发大概8条左右才可以。 Okay, so see you guys then. Bye.